Awesome. Hello, everybody. It has been
Hello.
it has been a day. It has been a week. Right when I think that they pull us out, they pull us back in. Right when you think you get out. I swear to God, like every time I think we're moving on from Ubisoft and from uh BioWare, it's just never ending.
It
Just
gets worse.
yeah, it just piles on top of each other. But there's some things to get into. I think we should talk about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and the drama going on with that first before we dive into
Yeah.
the other stuff.
Okie dokies.
So, for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, there's been a lot of drama with that. And it's because of the I don't know. Actually, I forgot how the rumor even started now that I think about it.
I
But
I don't. So I've been trying to follow it, and I cannot figure out what in the world is happening. It makes no sense. When I ask somebody about it, like, hey, what's going on with this? They just responded with like flat out noise, like crazy noise,
okay.
and then I would look in other places. And I would try and find like what other people were saying, and nothing made sense. Nobody's posting like an info dump of like you know what's going on, like who's saying what, like all this kind of stuff, and I'm just like, what? I don't understand what's going on here.
Well, from what it's so weird because it's like a total 180 from
Hmm.
how everyone was talking about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Everyone was so excited when it was first announced. Everyone was getting like very hyped. Everyone was looking forward to it. And then suddenly, one rumor that it might be somehow supporting the woke agenda, quote unquote, and then
Hmm.
its reputation just tanks. And I'm like, there's no one showed any evidence. There's no real proof of this. But then again, to be fair, we do go off of rumors and stuff. Not gonna lie, when it comes to some of these stories, we do go off of rumors. But it's like the reason why we believe them more in most cases is because it's linked to a studio that has a track record of doing, like a proven track record of doing this. As far as I know, Kingdom Come Deliverance does not have an actual track record of doing this. There were very there was it. I think they're very historically accurate. They're very was it respectful of the time, and they're very well story writers. They write stories very well and stuff like that. So it's like
Yeah.
the as far as I know, the only woke thing that was hinted at in Kingdom Come Deliverance was that the antagonist may have a gay lover. That was hinted at. I don't think it was like implied. It wasn't really like explicit with that. But I don't even know if that's true because I haven't played the game, but that's what I've heard. So then suddenly I don't know. It's just weird how like suddenly we hear one rumor and then we just believe it when the studio hasn't really proven, like the studio hasn't given us a reason to be upset. Do you know what I mean? Like it's so weird. Oh, hi Scythe, welcome in. But it also brings up to question, when is it enough? When is it enough? When is this going to stop? And what is considered good woke and bad woke, I guess. Like
Hmm.
I don't know what a good term for this is, but it's like what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. And are
Well,
we going to call out
I think
every single thing as, oh, it's just a woke agenda? Or are we going to finally come to terms with, like, okay, some things are very bad, but then not everything, like being gay isn't like an alarm to set up an alarm. Having someone having like strange pronouns isn't like set up an alarm. Do you know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
like,
well, I mean, here's my take on it, and I'm probably gonna, I may end up, no, I won't regret saying this. So this is how I see it. This is very simple. Good woke is, adults can do what they want in their own time, with their own bodily autonomy to do whatever they want in like their setting, right? Like
hmm.
it's like if somebody wants to do something, if somebody wants to be if somebody wants to dress up like a dog and do dog do things as a dog, okay? It's like it's like I ain't got no beef. It's like you do you. People are weird. I haven't I'm not like I'm not going to, threaten to do anything about that. It's just people are weird. They could do what they want. That is a grown adult doing grown adult things, and people have been doing weirder for a lot longer. But where I tend to draw the line is like, all right, just don't force it down somebody's throat at a literal point of violence, right? And that's what we were seeing for a while. What with uh, like I remember some of the free speech people saying this, like, look, we need to have room for free speech. People need to be able to speak their mind, and people were trying to like burn down the building that they were in, and
Yeah.
and it got really crazy for a few years there. And it's still really crazy in some scenarios. And if you go online, you can find people saying some of the most aggressive things. And unfortunately, there's some game designers out there who have been saying things like, I think one of the worst ones was like, kill your local, air quotes, person that you disagree with politically. And it's like, okay, dude, calm down, right? Like seriously, calm down. Like this is the thing that made the situation that we have right now worse. And that this is the like, it's like, can we go back to the 90s when it was all like, hey, just like, do whatever you want in your own lane. And and there's a lot of people who were like, no, screw you, I'm going to burn you down.
Hmm.
And then and then the response to that is like, no, we're going to like, we're going to push back just as hard. And then that happened, and now we're at this point where it's like, it's kind of like people are itching for like a full-blown war. And it's like we don't want that. That's bad. You have no idea how bad that's going to be. It is definitely wrong that there's some people who have been pushing for that on one side of the thing for a long time. And it's kind of like stupid, because it's like those aren't the people who are going to be in the war. And meanwhile, the whole time, let me just again let me again remind everybody that this whole culture war that we've been having for the past few years, this whole culture war was a direct response to the whole Occupy Wall Street thing, where all of the rich fat cats said, "Hey, let's get some of the heat off of us and incite more like, regular people on regular people violence." and
Right,
that's
right, right.
and that's what we, yeah, and we've been seeing like that for crazy. And again, it's like people forget. It's like Occupy Wall Street was like the initial like setting for that was really straightforward, was really clean cut, was really like not was really like a good thing, going, hey, there's some problems here. Now we can all disagree on the solutions, and there are a lot of solutions for that. Some of them are more extreme, some of them are crazy, and we're going to be dealing with this stuff when AI becomes like, starts to get like physical, right?
Yeah.
But that may be like in the right hands. AI can literally make endless food for everybody, because like our farming practices right now are incredibly like inefficient.
Hmm.
But you could make totally super efficient everything. You take all the ditches in North America, and you turn those into like food producing locations, and you would have enough food to feed the entire world. It's insane how much land space goes to waste on stupid, irregular, dumb things. The fact that we like try to like force big crops into big fields, that when it's like, well, actually, if you diversified like the way that you do the food cropping, because like this 20-foot area over here is exceptionally dry or exceptionally wet, and your normal crop that you've planted everywhere else in the field is going to die here. It's like that's that. Like there's just so much. I come from a farming background, that's why I mentioned this. Like
No, you're
when I was
good.
a kid, like growing up. So the point is that all of these issues have lots of nuance. And with AI coming, eventually we have to have a lot of these discussions.
Yeah.
With progressing technology, especially when it comes to like full deep dives, like brain upload, like brain schematic uploads, like virtual, living in a virtual space, like that's going to result in a lot of conversations about a lot of the stuff that we have been having conversations about. And it's important to not lose sight of the nuance and lose sight of the things that make us like reasonable people, to be able to have a reasonable conversation that will help everybody in the long run. It's like we want those things. We want those things, and we want people to be able um, to express freely their um and I have to be careful how to say this, because you could really muddle it up. You have to allow people to be able to express the freedom of speech, identity, and when I mean identity, I don't mean it the way that it's used these days. More like it's like the traditional terminology of the word, but the free will. That's the best way to say it. Your
Yeah.
free will. I'm a big believer in free will. Why? Because if you don't have free will, we're just robots. And trust me, there are a lot of people, very powerful people in the world, who, if they could turn the regular people into robots who just shut up and did as they're told, they would do it in a heartbeat.
They want to
And
turn us
those are
into
the people that
servitors.
exactly like Warhammer 40K future, the bad stuff, like that is entirely like possible at this point. Like it is genuinely
Uh, for
terrifying.
for those of you who don't know what servitors are like basically android android uh creatures made of humans' bodies, but with like mechanisms to keep the body functioning. But it's pretty much a mindless servant. They just use a peasant's corpse to keep the machine going.
Yeah.
That's what I
And
that's
you
what I
and
mean.
you have and you have no free will in that choice. That is,
Nope.
you are stuck in a
The
nightmare.
Imperium decides that for you.
Exactly. So of course this stuff is like genuinely terrifying. We really truly 100% need to prioritize free speech, free again, that free will like ability, because the other thing too is like if there's no free will, there's no love. Like you can't love somebody if you don't have free will.
Hmm.
Like yes, that opens up the opportunity to hate somebody, to do terrible things, to really hurt them in horrible ways. But if you don't, if you turn that person into a slave of thought, then they can't do anything. So that's my stance on it. It's like this is Ash's stance on it. It's like, so there's lots of things that we don't necessarily agree with. There's lots of things that we think are inherently wrong that people do to themselves that can damage them over a long period of time. I've struggled with food. Other people have struggled with things that that they know are not good. And there's lots of things that the concept of it is not necessarily so bad, but it's like, what happens when you sit and watch TV for 18 hours a day and you don't do anything else, right?
Yeah.
But again, it's like, it's the ability to make those decisions and to be able to recognize when decisions are bad and do something about it. Like, this is genuinely really important. So I know it's a bit of a runoff rabbit hole, but that's like, it's like we want to say that because again, the nuance of like people wanting the ability to play as, let's just take a basic one, almost taking this all the way back to the original Gamergate stuff. A lot of people wanted female protagonists. And then they took it one step further. They said, we want female protagonists. 100% I agree with it. That is a great statement. That is a great statement because I prefer games where you make your own character and you just have the option to make whoever you want. Baldur's Gate, Mass Effect, the original Mass Effect, having a heavy narrative with a cool character that you have 100% designed and created your own story for. That's the best kind of game there is. MMOs do that. It's great. Those are the best games, in my opinion. Those are flat out the best kinds of games in the world. But then somebody took it. I remember somebody took it one step further. It's like, no. We don't want the ability to have a choice. We want a mandated female character to be played as your main character in these games. And it's like, but that's taking us backwards. Like I'm all up for that. I think there's a space for that, obviously. But just in general, it's like no. We demand that you have this. Well, that leads to Dragon Age Veilguard, where you have you have the characters that are in there not because they're interesting or cool characters, but because they're mandated to be.
Yeah.
By the writers, and again, that's kind of a weird thing because it's like they're not mandating it themselves. They're like, no, this is what I want to add in, blah 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 blah.
I mean, before we dive deep into that, I just want to say, on the previous subject, I think some other VTubers have made the point, and I agree with them, that we need to be more mindful about this whole like woke agenda, quote unquote, thing about was it characters being put into video games and media in general that are used as a talking piece for a political agenda that not everyone agrees with. But we need to be mindful about what is just a different perspective and what is actually propaganda, I think is the right word for this. Just be mindful. Don't always automatically hate on something just because it's like it's gay or LGBT in it, or the character is transgender and stuff like that. I think we need to be more mindful, but especially since gaming industry is starting to turn away from this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that transgenders and gay people just stop existing. Like that's not realistic. Let's be honest here. It's not realistic.
Well, and it's not healthy either. And I have seen some content creators recently who really have kind of like embraced the hatred. It's like, cool, we're on top now. Now let's make everybody else burn. And it's like, no, dude. The whole time we were arguing, we were saying, remember, like one of the things I told the BioWare team was like, you catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. It's like, you want inclusivity, try to not just include the people that you think were left behind, just include everybody. And I would argue that's what a perfect example of this is. Literally, I say it so much, but it's like Dragon Age Veilguard versus Baldur's Gate 3. It's what is the two differences between those games? Well, in one you have this extremely rigid, you can't disagree with anybody. To the other game, you can just do whatever you want. All of the characters are player sexual. If you want a relationship with any of these characters, you can totally have it at the drop of a hat, basically. Like if you install certain mods.
Yeah.
Then or if you play in the original release version when they had that bug that just all of the characters were throwing themselves at you constantly.
Oh my.
But it's like this is what this is like. Don't feed into the anger and the hatred of like, now it's our turn to make the other side cry. It's like, no, try to be like at least a little bit like, look, we just want to have games, and it's better when everybody gets a, something that they're okay with having. That's all we were asking for to begin with. I always find it so funny that
I mean,
that
literally one of the best characters from Grand Theft Auto was gay Tony.
mhm,
Hello, like the, it's not that the gamers hate this kind of representation. That's not it at all. It's the fact that the writing has just the quality of writing has gone so
oh yeah,
downhill for these type of characters that it's starting to get on everyone's nerves. And I don't mean just gamers. It's getting on everyone's nerves. Even the groups that they're pandering to. They cannot stand the horrible representation these these freaking companies uh do for them, quote unquote. And it's like it's not helping anybody, and especially not helping everybody if anybody if we keep ragging on representation and everything like other ethnic groups exist. We can't get mad because was it the main character is Asian or the main character is black. We can't keep doing that because help that's not helping. And then you're just I feel like it's just falling into a trap of actual
yeah,
discrimination and stuff, which I think
yeah.
we
Well,
need
it's
to we need to be careful of. Because
well, and there are some people out there who are praying that that's what everybody does. That now that it looks like the pendulum is shifting, that there are some people who take it really, really far, and then they get to stand back and say, "I told you so. I told you so. I told you so,"
yeah.
and then try and pin the brush of like, and they're doing it nonstop. Like it's absolutely crazy. But yeah, it's like that's not healthy.
Yeah. That's why having these discussions before it becomes too far is very important. I think, especially when like how quickly the reputation of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2
Hmm.
just flipped on a dime so freaking fast. Like pre-orders went down, everything went down, like their reputation went down, viewership went down. Like everyone reacted so freaking fast. And I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's calm down here. They have no track record of like doing propaganda stuff. So why are we acting so harshly when
Right.
they haven't given us a reason to?" And that's why I think is very
And
reckless.
by the way, if anybody in the chat can explain this to me, I'd be grateful because it's really confusing. I remember hearing some stories, but the stories didn't have any like actual like quotes or anything. It was basically speculation. That was like a week and a half ago.
Oh yeah.
And then I kept thinking that I'll hear somebody who will give like a logical like breakdown of all the evidence of what's going on. But that never came. And
Now,
then I tried to look up a video today about it, and I tried to look up some some general posts of like somebody explaining the situation. All it is stuff from the release of the first game. I've got tons and tons of articles that people are pointing to, and then I've got a bunch of people saying insane, um, literally insane stuff about like this thing that can't possibly be real. Like because again, there's no quotes, there's no I came across a post that said that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is going to have the option to play as a trans person,
what?
and that they are so happy that the studio has like has joined the right side of history. And I'm sitting here going, okay, like where's the proof of this? And then I look at and I can't find anything saying this at all anywhere. So then I go to another site, Reddit, because of course that was the dumbest thing I could possibly do. And
Oof.
it's just people launching vitriolic attacks against other people. And again, there's no posts, there's no quotes, there's no nothing showcasing what they're actually talking about. So I have no idea what in the world is going on. I can't find anything that confirms anything in any direction at all, period. And it's just like, okay, I don't know what's going on.
So basically, we just have to take all these rumors with a
It's just
heavy grain of
that and
salt,
that.
unless proven
uh,
otherwise.
Yeah, and it's just at this point, all it is just rumors. It's just insane rumors.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If they fall into the trap, you can have representation. You can have good representation. I'm not saying that like there were like gender queer people back in the day. I'm not saying that there's no gay people back in the day. I'm saying that if the writing is just another preachy way of them saying like men suck, the patriarchy sucks, they should deserve to like not continue existing and stuff like that. When it comes to extremist views on a certain demographic, mainly males and white males, straight white males for some reason. When it comes to that, that's where we need to we need to point it out and say this is wrong. Like, and what the worst part is that they use minorities, you know,
Hmm.
they use gay people and ethnic groups to say these talking points, and it's like that. It's just a bad look, and honestly, it's disgusting of was it companies to do this because you're making a whole demographic of groups look really bad because they're pushing these views specifically, and not everyone thinks that. Most people don't actually think that. Like, you know, if realist, no, not everyone thinks this. All right, like there's
Hmm.
some people who do. There's racists out there. There's like sexists out there. Don't get me wrong. There are people who think this way. Oh, sorry, not sexist. What do you call it? Misandrists. They're people.
Yeah, well, I
Well, yeah,
mean,
I mean, yeah, sexist
sexists, right?
exists,
Sexist,
but
sexist.
yeah, but yeah,
Meandrous,
yeah,
chauvinists, and
yeah.
like personally, I hate chauvinists. Like I genuinely hate chauvinists. They are they.
What
I
are
dealt with one in college.
what's a chauvinist?
So in the original term, basically it's like somebody who believes that women shouldn't have equal rights as men. Like just straight up, like women can't drive, vote, or own property.
Oh, okay, yeah,
I
that's not good.
dealt with one when I was in college. They're absolutely crazy. Like they are legitimately like dingbat insane, stupid, and it's like, and again, that's the thing. It's like no, we don't want to go too far. I was sitting in a parking lot a couple of years ago, and this guy walks up and he raps on my window, and I'm like, I don't know who this guy is, but I'm in a vehicle that tends to make people come and ask me questions, so I'm like, whatever. So I roll it, and I'm like, hey, and he like 30 seconds he's talking about like extremely racist stuff, and I'm like, okay, dude, I'm gonna leave now. Hope to never talk to you again. Period. There are crazy people like that, and you don't want to agree with those crazy people. Andrew Tate is not a good guy. I don't like. There are 1,000 other men who do really good, like men's advice stuff. Andrew Tate, not so much. He's a giant piece of crap. Like legitimately, he's a terrible person. But again, it's like you don't have to like feed into the hatred. Just like you know, avoid it. And in this case here, um, like I would really recommend people just like do what we tell them to all the time, which is don't pre-order a game. Wait until you see a review from a trusted person who goes, "Yeah, this is what the game is about." Does that mean that you'll miss out on the pre-order, BS? Well, yeah, but it's also pre-order BS. It's
Yeah.
like I am going to be playing Civilization 7 on day, well, maybe one. I kind of depends how much work I've got going on. Does that mean that I think that it's a good game and that I pre-ordered it? No, haven't even pre-ordered it actually. So it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, let's just do what we were telling people to do all along.
Yeah. That's definitely the more safer bet, considering
Hmm.
all the rumors. Oh yeah, Trikiran said the new avatar is very cute. Is it a VTuber avatar? And I was like, oh, that would be so cute. Plus
Um,
plus he wouldn't be the first you wouldn't be the first person to have like a female VTuber avatar with a male voice.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I like Rev. Rev is really funny. I like Rev, and I love his
Oh,
avatar.
have
And
you
then
seen Porcelain Maid? Joel, he's so funny.
oh no, I haven't, but I think I've heard of him.
Oh yeah,
There are a few that do that, and I've always been kind of like, oh, that's funny, and I don't know, maybe we'll see.
Oh, you
That
should
might
definitely,
actually
you
be in the
should,
cards.
yeah, you should definitely think about it because I think the artist would do a great job. All you have to do is with designing it, and then all you'd have to do is find a rigger
Yeah,
to make a VTuber avatar of it. Oh, God, it would look so pretty. Oh my God, it looks so cute.
and that would actually make sense. Yeah, maybe I'll talk to the artist. Brand new artist. Yeah, it's very exciting. I've got a ton of stuff going. There's going to be a lot more of it going on. Um, I don't think I've talked publicly about it, but yeah, I'm writing a new series. I have 8 books done, and I am like, as in like, done their initial like first, second, or third draft. The first book is going through its final draft before an editor gets it, and then we edit it up, and then we are going to be recording audio for the narration, and we're going to be launching the narration at the same time we do digital release. So very excited about it.
Yeah, it seems pretty good. The lore behind it is very interesting, and like he even has like a soundtrack to like
Hmm.
put behind it, and I was like, oh my God, this sounds so freaking cool. So yeah, very very excited. Uh oh yeah, speaking of, so we're talking about the end of how Veilguard was used as, one of those talking points, as it were, uh used as a mouthpiece for this propaganda, as it were, for like, and it's not, what's so disappointing about it is that people have been asking for a female Kunari for the longest time as a companion, especially after Inquisition. People were specifically asking for a female Kunari companion, and we finally get one. We finally get a female Kunari, but then she turns out not to really be female. She's actually not binary, and I feel like that's
So
very
we still didn't get what we asked
still,
for.
yeah, still didn't get what we asked for. It's very
Uh,
disappointing, and honestly, I think it was very kind of disrespectful to the audience. Well, I wouldn't say the audience, but to fans, because
hmm
they're like, "Oh, you want a female Kunari? Well, she's not really female," and it's like, well, it's like you guys are kind of being assholes. I don't know. It just seems like they're kind of being jerks. And this is a fictional character we're talking about. I'm just talking, in my opinion, of a fictional character. I'm not talking about a real person, all right? So I can have these opinions. This is not a real person. I just think it's an asshole thing to do that these companies were asking for a female Kunari, and then they're like, oh, you get a female, but then they turned her not fucking non-binary. And I'm like, well, then you're just, that's kind of, I don't know. In my opinion, it just seems like they're fucking being assholes on purpose, all right? They're like, well, you're not allowed to like female Kunari, get a non-binary person. And I'm like, well, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It seems like they're just, was it doing things to lure you in? Like, oh, you get a female Kunari. Everyone's got excited for it. Oh, you can play the game offline. Everyone got excited for it. Oh, it's single player and no longer live service. Everyone got excited for it. They're like doing these little tricks to convince us that they're changed their ways, you can actually like have they're like luring the fans into a false sense of security.
hmm
They're like, oh, you know how everyone said they wanted their Inquisitor in the game? You can now have your Inquisitor in the game. And then everyone got excited. And not gonna lie, I was one of those people. I was like, this is really great that they're starting to come back to what they were originally, because that's what they were trying to convince you. They're trying to convince you that they're coming back to what they were used to doing. But then you actually play the game, the writing is terrible. Literally, you find out the stuff that was written horribly was written by the new writers in BioWare. And then, like, I heard from someone who played the game and who was a fan of the series, like, the writing sucks for, like, either the first 3 or the first 10 hours. But once you get towards the end of the game, like, that's when the writing actually starts to pick up and actually starts to be good. Turns out the reason why it picks up at the end was because that was the original stuff that OG BioWare writers wrote for the game before they left. Literally, that's just the remnants of what the game was originally supposed to be.
Yeah, I heard that too.
And yeah, like, even though the writing was good, the gameplay was horrible, dude. I was complaining about it last time on the stream. I was complaining how they had these like four-headed dragons, and the dragon tries to bite you and then its head suddenly falls, like because it's trying to bite you, but it you have to dodge it and it misses, and then its head just falls to the ground. Fucking sorry, for some reason it just falls to the ground, and then you just hit it like 5 times, then it gets back up, and then it tries to bite you. Like, it just repeats, and until you defeat all the heads, and it just keeps going, and it's just so boring. You don't have to really do anything special. You just have to like hit it a couple times if it gets close enough, and it's not it doesn't change. It doesn't do anything dynamic for the gameplay. It's not in Dragon Age 2, there's this one boss battle. Literally the first big boss battle you have to go through to get to the next chapter. It's literally a rock wraith. Like, it's a demon possessing a rock golem or something like that. I don't know. And like it if you hit it enough times, it goes to the middle of the arena that you're trapped in, and then it just like absorbs all this energy, and then it just releases it in this one huge blast, and you have to like hide behind these pillars in order not to get any like really bad damage done to you. And I was like, see, at least they break it up, and they like make it different. They don't do the same thing. It was kind of repetitive, not gonna lie, but they break it off with different transformations for the Wraith. The Wraith literally transforms into different types of bodies to deal damage. It turns into a boulder to run you over. It comes up to you and attacks you. It drops its rock form, and it's just pure energy, and it starts trying to tries to suck you in like a vortex, and you start taking damage if you get caught in the vortex. Like, it is dynamic. It changes ups. There are phases. But it just goes to show how bad the gameplay and the writing is for Veilguard, when all you have to do is kill the dragon heads. That's it. You just hit the dragon heads really hard. That is it. I am not joking. That is literally it. You just hit them really hard, and then it just dies. And this is a boss battle with a freaking god, dude. This is a boss battle with a god. You're supposed to feel like they are very powerful and that you are surviving by the skin of your teeth, because you're facing a literal god, a very powerful mage that is a god. Like, you have to fight that. And it's like where have we gotten where have we gotten in the series that this is what we're left with? And we really are like celebrating the death of BioWare, because I don't think they can ever recover from this at all. BioWare has tanked in stocks by $6 billion. This is a $37 billion company, and they went down in stocks by $6 billion.
Yeah, and there are other reasons why the EA stock has dropped so far.
It wasn't just Veilguard; it was other things too. But I'm just saying that
at the same time, it's like, well, you could have made it a lot less worse by like having, because if you look back at Inquisition, if you look back at even Andromeda, moved units. Like it was a bad game overall, and they dropped support for it, which was a mistake. They should have said, "We're sorry. We are going to make sure that this is right." And what they should have done is they should have stopped working on Anthem, because that was just, I mean, that was just a waste to begin with. It was the worst experience I've ever had in a big title video game. It was a complete and total joke. What an absolute train wreck that was. But yeah, they should have made Andromeda. They really should have said, we're going to spend the next 3 years making this game worth it.
I
And if
wish
they had done that, I guarantee you they would have learned the lessons to avoid the mistakes that they had made. But EA is not interested in that. They've never been interested in any of that. EA is run by some of the stupidest
I
people on the planet.
I honestly think that they knew, because let's be honest here, guys. And I think I pointed it out somewhere else, and I don't know if I said it on the podcast, but it is like, in hindsight, it was very obvious that they had no confidence in this product at all. And they were like, look, we spent 10 years funding this freaking project. Uh, it's not getting any better. We might as well just push it out. And how I know that they had no they just wanted to push it out because they spent a lot of money on it, on was it killing and then restarting the game like 4 times in the
Yeah.
background.
Well,
And so they're like,
it
we
was
gotta.
two major restarts to it, and it was like just incredible, and again, incredibly stupid from EA's decisions and all their problems, and that's what forced a lot of the older people out. And EA like constantly like saying, no, we don't, like, you're not gonna do, and it just everything makes everything worse, and it's just like, wow, this is
And
the
they,
height of stupidity right now.
yeah, they knew that they were funding a lost cause. They knew it. They knew it. They won't. This is me speculating, allegedly, but I have a feeling they knew that they were funding a product that was not going to make them a lot of money, because you can tell by the estimations that they had for the project. You know, the expectations that they had. They expected at least 3 million sold copies sold. That's what they were expecting. This is a greedy company. They have high expectations for their like their big Golden Goose IPs. Dragon Age has been a Golden Goose IP since EA purchased the IP or got the rights for the IP. And you're telling me that the most that they expected from Veilguard was, or not the most, but the least that they expected for Veilguard to sell was 3 million copies?
Yeah. Well, I
That's
mean,
not that's
you
not
gotta,
very that's not very confident numbers. Usually,
no.
usually companies overestimate, especially when it's a Golden Goose IP. Usually they overestimate the sales numbers sometimes. Like they're like, "Oh, it's going to sell 200 million copies. Oh, it's going to sell 10 million copies." Oh, it's like it goes like way up, and you're like, "Okay, maybe we need to bring it down a bit cuz you're kind of overestimating it." Well, we know that they overestimate it sometimes, but they're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, this is gonna sell. Oh yeah, everyone's gonna love this. But
Well,
yeah,
and Dragon Age Inquisition at launch, I think they sold like 5 to 6 million on like the first, like, in a very brief period of time, and then it went on to sell it is grand total sold now over 12 million copies. And again, it's like, oh,
wait, is that
okay,
Inquisition?
that's Inquisition, yeah. So again, Inquisition, if they had just done that again, they would have guaranteed themselves around like 10 million full sale units. If they had just done what they did before. But they didn't do what they did before. No, they were like, "Hey, how can we screw this up by doing not what we've done before, but by doing something else that we want to do that doesn't make any sense." So
Now,
like that's what's happened here, and it's
yeah.
stupid.
Now the reason why we're rehashing the failures of Veilguard and the failures of BioWare and the failures of EA, the reason why we're rehashing it is because they've essentially stopped support of Veilguard. And when people asked if there's any future for the franchise, I forgot who it was who said it. Was it the director or someone, one of the higher ups of BioWare? They were like, well, but Dragon Age isn't over because it lives on in you. F off, dude. Are you freaking serious? Oh, Dragon Age isn't, it didn't die, guys. Dragon Age isn't dead because it lives on in you. You're literally saying it is dead. You're literally saying it is dying on the at the foot of freaking fans. Literally. Like, it's just so freaking frustrating because I know they killed it. You're the ones who killed this franchise, and you're telling me I literally saw you take out a gun and then shoot Dragon Age in front of me, and it's like and then EA has the gall to turn around, places their freaking hands on my shoulder and say,
fans' fault.
No, they're like they put their hands on your shoulders and they're like, it's okay, Dragon Age is still alive in you. And it's like, I literally just saw you shoot them in front of me. Get the heck out of here.
Was that an official EA source, or was that an ex? I thought it was an ex. Employee who was like, "This story lives on in you now," and it's.
Oh no! It was a BioWare employee who is no longer with BioWare. Yeah, don't worry, guys. So it's not dead. It lives on in you. Freak off. I cannot stand. As a huge fan of freaking...
Crazy.
As a huge fan of Dragon Age and as a huge fan of BioWare, I am so freaking mad. I am so mad. I hate the blatancy. The freaking audacity. Like, you killed my freaking favorite franchise. The franchise that got me into gaming as a whole. You do not understand. Like, the first game I played on Xbox when I could afford an entertainment system, I got a freaking Xbox, and the first game I got was Inquisition. Dragon Age Inquisition. I loved it so much, I went back, and I went back to the original games, the first two games, and I loved the series so much. I was excited for the new game that was soon to, well, I wouldn't say soon to be, but I was excited for the next game. And then I got into, was it Mass Effect? And then it just spiraled from there. I got into Far Cry. I got into Assassin's Creed. Like, I became a gamer because of Dragon Age. And I am so livid that they're like, oh, we didn't kill the franchise. It's not dead, guys. Like, it just feels like such a fucking, a freaking gaslight. Do you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
they're like,
100%.
It's
but it also speaks to the enormity of the arrogance behind this. That, like, these people, these writers who were like, oh, I'm creating the next, like, I'm the next Shakespeare, right? It's like, no, you're not. No, I am the next Shakespeare. And then they pick up, and again, it's that old meme. I've talked about it a number of times on the channel. It's the old meme where somebody's standing there, they're looking down at a thing that's really popular, and they're like, I like this. This is so cool. And they look at it, they look at it for a couple panels, and then it goes, I made this. I made this. This is mine.
Oh,
and
God.
It's like, for crying out loud.
And they're like, even if we stop making content for Dragon Age, you guys can make content for Dragon Age. And it's like, fudge you on so many levels. Like, I am so mad. They just blatantly end it all. And it's like, it's up to you guys now to carry the legacy. And like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? It's just...
It's so self-conceited and crazy, and
it
God, hurts so much.
But don't worry, guys. Even though the writers who made Veilguard left BioWare, apparently they moved on to, allegedly, Ghost of Yotei. Yay! So apparently, we find out that the writers behind Ghost of Yotei are previous uh BioWare employees that were also behind Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda and Dragon Age Veilguard. Yay! Proven track record. Yay! Even though all those games were financial failures. Whoa! Like, I was going to give the Ghost of Yotei a chance because I didn't want to fall into that, that rabbit hole of saying like, oh, if it's a female protagonist, automatically it's going to be bad and it's automatically going to talk about the patriarchy and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I was going to give it a chance. And plus it didn't look I don't know. Wait, did they even show gameplay for the new game coming out? Do you know, Seb?
What? Hmm, you mean Mass Effect or that other one?
No, Ghost of Yotei.
Okay, yeah. So the Ghost one. Um, I don't think they did. I could be wrong though. It's not a game that I've been following very closely. It's a game where I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, I'll pick it up when they,
I haven't
I'll pick up more attention on it when it's
whew,
like
to be
later
perfectly
on.
to be perfectly honest, I haven't been paying attention to it because I haven't even played the first game. So I haven't really been paying that much attention to it because I want to at least play the first game before I make an opinion about the second game. But
Hmm.
yeah, everyone thought that the second game would continue the legacy of the protagonist of the first game, who was a male shinobi, I believe. And
Yeah.
yeah, they thought it was just going to continue his story, only to find out that the ghost, quote unquote, isn't one person. It is just a title that many people can gain to enact some type of justice, I guess, is what the creator the creative said. That's what they said. So they're like, so I'm like, I was like, okay, I can understand that. I was a little hesitant. I was like, okay, but then only to find out that okay, I know oh, now that I look at the title, I don't even know if they're new writers for the Ghost of Yotei. I don't know how long they've been there. I I don't know if they've. I feel like some of them may have been there for a while others kind of just recently went there, but that's not good. That's not good, especially with the quality we got with Veilguard. Uh, and like I said before, I said that was it Veilguard's the first 3 hours or the first 10 hours of the writing was really freaking bad. That was the new writer's work. That was the new writer's work. The better writing later on in the game was from the OG BioWare writers before they left. So that does not bode well for the Ghost of Yotei's writing. But do you know if the Ghost of Tsushima's writers and developers left? Do you know if any of the original people left from the studio?
That that I don't know because I haven't been able to confirm
Okay.
from that perspective. So, and it is something that I've been kind of like sitting back and kind of looking at and going,
Here,
I
Bubs. Sorry.
wonder, I wonder what's going on here with that in particular, because it's
So,
yeah, because it is a little weird that they I'm under the impression, and I don't know if this is true or not. So definitely don't take this like as absolute. But I am under the impression that that all or most of the writers from the original game are not there for this one, and that's why they brought in all these new writers, and some of them are from like you know, Dragon Age, which is just like, again, it's like shocking. Like, why? Like it, that is genuinely shocking. It's like, wait, what?
So,
Um, yeah,
so let's just give this the benefit of the doubt. I don't, I think, because if we're going back on like the pedigree of these new writers, they were, some of them were behind Anthem, Andromeda, Mass Effect Andromeda, and Veilguard. And Veilguard only recently started to like a couple weeks ago and stuff. Only recently started to downsize. Uh, Now, so that means some of them are actually very recent writers, meaning they probably didn't have much say in the building of Yotei. However, that doesn't mean at some point it might change. Like, I don't know if it might change. I don't think that they would have much influence over the current story. I don't think they would. But I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. But is this a bad thing? I mean, they could learn from the original writers of Ghost of Tsushima. They can learn from those writers, those very more experienced, talented writers who know how to make a good story. I feel like it's an opportunity for them to learn and adapt to that kind of storytelling. Or they could be very arrogant about it and not want to change their writing style, and they could end up ruining Yotei. I don't know. We're just speculating at this point. I think them having them gaining these writers with that type of pedigree isn't a good look. I think it's going to affect the iffy reputation of Yotei already. I think it's going to affect people being wary of the product. I mean, being wary isn't a bad thing because there's always word of mouth. As I've said earlier, like with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, you can always wait until the game comes out and trust sources, the trust the trusted sources
yeah.
listen to and stuff. If they say it's a good game, give it a chance. Wait until gameplay comes out. Wait until Let's Plays comes out, and then make your decision on based on that if you want to play the game. That's I don't know. I'm being wary but slightly optimistic. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm wary because uh was it? I'm wary that they might influence the story that's already written, but I'm also optimistic that this might be a learning experience for them to learn how to make an actual good game. That's what I'm hoping for. But I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. Time will tell. Uh, you come to learn that these games that have these types of agendas, they can't hide this stuff for long. It eventually gets out. People talk about it. So yeah, just wait and see. Is Ghost of Yotei going to be a good game? I don't know. We haven't even seen
Yeah.
gameplay yet. We haven't even seen any story elements yet. So yeah, we'll just wait and see.
And
Um,
again, it's like, it's always wait and see, because it's like this. There's no other way to like be assured that you're gonna. Again, there's no point in pre-ordering. It's all digital these days. They're not going to run out of digital pre-orders.
yeah.
So yeah.
And was it cuz like the reason why I'm being wary is because the studio with this the same as Kingdom Come Deliverance, the studio with the Ghost of Tsushima has a good track record so far. So I'm giving them the benefit of a doubt until proven otherwise. I'm not gonna automatically jump on the hate train just because I heard some rumors here and there. If they
Hmm.
like just with Veilguard, you don't understand how much I was like covering my ears and shutting my eyes to the warning signs of Veilguard. Like I was like, no, it can't be, no. the game's gonna be good, guys. The game's gonna be good. Only for people to show actual gameplay of the cutscenes, of the dialogue, of the things you experience as a character in the game. Only when I started seeing videos of that, I was like, well, poop. Well, I guess Veilguard isn't as good as I thought it was. So, yeah, sometimes you need actual evidence of it not being good. But, well, yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But speaking of giving benefits of the doubt, Ubisoft did some underhanded things lately that I want to talk about. So
Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Oh my
so
goodness.
shocking.
Ubisoft. Wow.
We can
That's
trust
amazing.
we can
Wow.
trust Ubisoft. Okay, so this comes from Endymion, who is a YouTuber on YouTube. And he said that he was talking to a source from Ubisoft. And this is a story, guys, so buckle in. So, Endymion hears from a source from Ubisoft about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Alright, ooh boy, Shadows. We can't escape Shadows. It seems to get worse and worse for Shadows, no matter how much we try to get away from it. As even though I feel like the harder we try to get away from Shadows, the worse it gets. That we have to talk about Shadows. But the source says that the extra month or two that Ubisoft took, they planned to release Assassin's Creed Shadows like in January, or was it December? I don't know what the original release date for Shadows was, but they decided to extend it, and they extended it to February. So they had a month or two to pad out the game or whatever. And the source told Endymion that that during that time, uh, the CEO or the director or one of the higher ups told the devs to cut back Yasuke's content, or like what you're gonna find in the game is cut back content. Like they were going to, the source even claims they were going to originally use Yasuke as the main character, and that what's her name? Naue was going to be like more of a kind of a side protagonist that helps you along the way. And I was like, okay. And I was like, okay. And then they're cut back content, and then that for Yasuke. So what you're gonna find in a game is just the cut back content. And I was like, okay. And then they said that they worked on bugs and stuff, and they're like, we're getting rid of the woke stuff, guys. Like, trust us. And I was like, okay, sure. And then literally my opinion after hearing that, I'm going to read you what I said, because I literally wrote this in a chat. Where is it? Wait, where is it? Okay. I said, I don't believe they cut Yasuke's content. They already said you can switch between characters, and I don't believe they were going to make him the main character. This is Ubisoft, the same gaming company that made the last two Assassin's Creed main characters canonically female, even though they had a male counterpart. And then I said, sorry, I should specify Odyssey and Valhalla obviously specifically, it was Odyssey and Valhalla that they made the female counterparts canonically female. And then I think they were just like either sitting back on their hands. I think they were just sitting back on their hands and waiting for the backlash to blow over, or they actually were focusing on like fixing the bugs. But then even then, the gameplay that they showed looks horrible, guys. Like they keep pushing out trailers for like the gameplay, and it looks so bad. Like the dialogue looks freaking horrible. The graphics aren't rendered properly. They look potato. We're in 2024. What do you literally games that look like they came out in 2012 look better than the current day games that come out in 2025. That is ridiculous. And everyone's like, oh, well, hardware is kind of intensive now and everything's so expensive. Bullshit. Sorry, BS. Like, I don't believe that for a second. They obviously cut corners, dude. Like, it's even been proven that they freaking outsource most of their games just to save a buck, dude. Like, that explains why most AAA games are such potato, dude. It's because they outsource it to save a buck. And I'm getting sick and tired of it. Like, they're acting like this is ingenuitive. It's not. It's not, because they literally cut content. I am so annoyed. Like, they're like, guys, trust us. This is going to be great. We added... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so my understanding is that they've cut his content back because he's a samurai, he's not an assassin. And so if you want to do stealth takedowns, if you want to do stealthy mission approaches, your option's going to be the other character. And then that's how they're saying, oh, he's not an assassin anymore. So he's not part of the Assassin Creed. He's just this cool side character who gets to come in and play.
They never said he was a shinobi. They never said he was going to do that stuff. They never said that.
No, they did. So he had all.
No,
this
I mean
stealth, he did have all the stealth combat, but they've scaled all that back because it frankly just doesn't make sense. Like, you can't have.
Oh yeah, everyone was making fun of that. Now they're
sneaking around.
Yeah, now I remember. Yeah, people were making fun of that.
And it's like, and again, it's like him
but I meant...
trying to like move through a crowd unseen. It's like, you mean the 7-foot guy who's not the ethnicity of anybody that he's walking past is sneaking around? I don't think that's...
Oh yeah, they also really said they said that they got rid of content of like originally they had like villagers, if they saw Yasuke they would all bow to Yasuke to show deference to him. I think that's the right word for it. They said they got rid of that. They said they cut back contents of Yasuke himself. Like, they made it so that it was more, they like how much of Yasuke is in the game is more equal to Naue, is what they were saying story-wise, is what I meant. I'm not saying that they were like, oh, they, instead of making him a shinobi, they made him more of a samurai. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about actual being involved in the story. They said they cut out his content of being so heavily involved to the point where they're like, it's now equal to Naue's content. And I was like... Yeah. And that's the first...
was originally, she was the token character.
Yeah,
she was the character who got the tiny little bit of the showcase. That's it.
I was like, so you're telling me Ubisoft, who made, was it the last 3? Okay, let's not count Mirage. Mirage had a male character. I don't think he had a female counterpart. I think you have to play as male in Mirage. But the other 2 games, in Odyssey and in Valhalla, you had female counterparts of the main character. There was Ivor, where you can play as male or female, and then there was Alexios or Alexios or Alexia. I don't know what the female counterpart's name is because I didn't play her. I played the male one. But yeah, like there was like a female equivalent of the Odyssey main character. And Ubisoft, in order to seem more progressive, they're like, yeah, you guys, there's a male counterpart, but canonically, the main character of Odyssey, and canonically, the character who plays Ivor is female. Like, even the way that they revealed that Ivor was female in Valhalla was like so contrived. They're like, even though you play as a male, it's revealed that like Ivor sees herself in a masculine way. That's why you seem like a male, but really you're just female. And I'm like, what? I'm like, just make her a woman. Just do that. Why do you have to do this weird contrived thing? It's just, if you want a female protagonist, just make her freaking female. Why is that so hard? Why do you have to do this like stupid contrived bend over backwards? Oh, it was a female all along. Like, that's so stupid. It's just like, just own it. Why is that such an issue? Why can't you just do that? Oh, right, this is the same freaking company that was it was revealed that sexism and assault freaking is prevalent and in the freaking company. Literally, are we forgetting that, guys? Are we forgetting that Ubisoft, back in the day, it was revealed that it was a man's club? They were sexually harassing females. They were forcing them to do certain acts, and they were heavily sexist. Heavily. This is the same Ubisoft that's now saying, oh, the female characters are like there's no male characters, it's just a figment of your imagination. They're just female. It's like, just like, Ubisoft is such a pile of crud. I cannot even. I think everything that's happening to Ubisoft right now is just karma coming to bite them in the butt. I cannot stand them.
And again, they were always like this. Like they were always like this. People, I understand that there's some people out there who are like, oh no, Ubisoft was like, they were always on our side, like the gamer side. It's like, no, they weren't.
No,
they were never on the gamer's side. They have always been on the side of the most money and being very sexist. Like, I mean, again, I use this example all the time. You didn't have a female playable character in any of their games until you could play as a dog at the same time. And then the guys were making all the comments that, again, the people that worked at Ubisoft were making comments going, haha, now you can actually play as a B word. But they actually said the B word. So,
freaking
and again,
jerks.
it's yeah, they've always been jerks. I don't know why people romanticize the idea of everybody working at that studio, because they were never on your side.
They never
ever
cared. It's always these types of people who tout such progressivism and like they're like activism and stuff. They're like, we care, guys. We care about the LGBT. We care about women's rights. We care. Even though they do the most heinous stuff behind the scenes. Heinous. It's deplorable. And it's like, oh yeah, let's definitely chill out for these people. I'm just tired of the BS, dude. Anyways, getting back on track. I went off the rails. I'm sorry. But originally they were like, we cut content for Yasuke, and originally Yasuke was going to be the main character, but we cut the content back, and then now he's like more equal to Naue. That was the first thing I called BS on, because they already said that Yasuke and Naue were literally, you can switch between them, you can choose characters, and during the story, you can switch between them. That was already established during the advertising phase of this game. They already said that. But them saying that Yasuke was originally the main character, I called BS on that, because their track record proved that if they have a female counterpart, the female is always the main character, always the canonical character. There's no way, even if Yasuke was black, there's no way they would have made him the main character, because he's a man. Let's be honest here, because that is the track record from the last two games, Xing out Mirage. And then, I highly doubted that they had extra content of Yasuke. I highly doubted that they were going to make him the main character. No offense of people who are probably fans of Yasuke, they probably were not going to give him that much screen time if they could help it, because like I said, and look at the advertisements. Naue was the main character, bro. Nawe was the main character. Who's the first person you see? Nawe. Who's the first person in the promotional shit? Nawe. And Yasuke happens to be there. Literally, if you just look at the advertisements, they prop Nawe up as the main character if they could get away with it. And who, like, if they say that Nawe was the main character, I would not be surprised because they did it for the last 2 games. If there's a female counterpart, I'm just reiterating myself. You get the gist.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not done. So imagine my surprise when a couple of days later, Endymion does another video where he said another source said that previous source was lying. They were pretending that they cut content for Yasuke just to appease to the anti-woke people. They were pretending to be cutting back content to make they were lying about cutting content about Yasuke. And I was like, oh, golly gee, Julie woo woo. Wow, who could have foreseen that they were lying about it? Oh, me, because I actually played the freaking games and I've seen the pattern. Yeah, I'm not surprised that they were lying about that, and I called that out. I called it out, bro. I freaking knew that they were lying about it. Cause they just are so predictable. It's so predictable, especially if you've played their games and if you've seen the articles and they talk about the stories and they talk about the characters. They have ideologies. They have favoritism, bro. They have favoritism. So I am not surprised that they were lying about content and stuff. They lied about cutting content to appease to the anti-woke crowd. I am not surprised. I'm not surprised. Of course they did that.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're in absolute panic mode right now because they've seen like all these games. They've been telling themselves for a long time. It's like it's our duty to bring forward a new age of games in which the old game people playing people are not welcome around here anymore. It's like they've gone on record saying that. They've gone on record touting that that's their plan, that's their goal, that's their solemn wish. And then it's like, all right, wish granted. And then suddenly they're like, why can't we pay the bills anymore? It's like, well, you told like 95% of your audience to F off. Like, what did you think was going to happen?
Yep. It's just like this. I feel like this game is legitly cursed. It is cursed. It is the downfall of Ubisoft. Well, that's not true. That is not true. The downfall of Ubisoft has been coming for a long time. Star Wars Outlaws was a failure.
But I mean, even older than that, like Ubisoft, I always knew Ubisoft was going to crash and burn within
Odyssey. Odyssey came out years ago, and it was controversial about the fact that you could play as a male or female characters. Not only that, but also they introduced new gameplay that was different, but like not, it's different, which isn't really bad, but it like deviates from the stealth mechanics of Assassin's Creed. Like, you play as a mercenary, not an assassin, really. And it's like, you're a mercenary who gets hired to do assassinations, but you also do, like, kill gods and stuff. Like, they, like, deviate from what being an assassin actually means. Like, don't get me wrong, I feel like maybe they started doing it even before Odyssey came out. They were, like, you could see that there was a change happening, where they were, like, pivoting from assassin to more action hammer warrior shiza. Like they were like twisting it around. And then I just remembered, someone said that they were going to make Assassin's Creed more fantastical, more mystical. And I'm like, this is This is getting so far from Assassin's Creed that I don't even recognize this Shiza anymore. Like, for real. Like, don't get me wrong, I loved Odyssey. I loved Odyssey. I actually really had fun with the gameplay. But then I played Ivor and I didn't have as much fun. And I was like, "Oh, we're getting out of the fun. We're getting out of fun. This is not fun. This is getting kind of boring." And I was like, "Oh, that's not good." And then Mirage comes out. I think Mirage was the next one that came out. Mirage comes out, and people are like, "Oh, it's like a return to form of the original, like, assassinating of..." Because Ivor in Valhalla was a warrior. He did assassinations and stuff, but he also, like, pillaged people. And I'm like, okay, like, he's a warrior.
Pillaging people forget that pirates and pillagers are about the most scum of the earth type people to ever existed.
Dude,
I mean,
the
you've worked,
Black Flag.
put yourself in the shoes of somebody, right? It's like you and your family in your little village has been farming and has been like growing crops, and you've been gathering food and you've been hunting, and you finally have all this food gathered and you're finally ready to, like, survive the harsh winter. And then a bunch of guys show up in boats, run up, set all your houses on fire, kidnap most of your daughters, and then grab about half the food and let the other half burn and then disappear. It's like,
it's okay, guys, because the people who did that were a different Viking tribe. That was a different Viking tribe, and the tribe that we're playing as are the good guys. We don't do that. We burn down churches. we burn down okay, guys, no, listen to me. We burn down churches, right? Okay, we burn down churches. Sure, okay, stay with me. Okay, we burn down churches, but the church is infiltrated by Templars. Okay, let's go with, okay. I was like, let's go with that. Like, look, okay, they're the bad guys. Ooh, this was back in, like, what, 2020? When did Valhalla come out? It was during
2020. Yeah, it was
during
COVID's.
during the time when being anti-Christian very prevalent. I mean, it's still kind of prevalent now, but being at the height of being anti-Christian is like, it was in there. It was in there. Not surprised. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think was it Assassin's Creed 2 was also, like, anti-church, I think, but that's only because some Templars infiltrated the church, like high positions of the church. But it wasn't so preachy, I think, about it. Like,
I said this. I think I said this last week. I think the blaming the Templars is just bad history. Like, you're feeding into just
we're not
bad
saying
history.
we're not saying it was
the
Templars. We're saying no, it's a fictional form of the Templar. It's not the Templars as we see them, modern, like, IRL. It's different. It's fictional, It's not the Templars. It's just different, guys. It's different. But we have come very far away from original Assassin's Creed, where they prided themselves on stealth and where they prided themselves on being historically accurate, of meeting historical figures popular in that time, and you get to meet them, bro. And sometimes they do be a little liberal. I'm not gonna lie, they be a little liberal with the interactions, but I don't think that was a bad thing. It was just so cool that you could do that. They were so dedicated to being historically accurate that when the Notre Dame got burnt down, they used an Assassin's Creed game where it featured the actual 3D render of the Notre Dame in the game. They used that as a focal point to rebuild the church after it was burned down. That's incredible. That's incredible. Like, that just breaks my heart.
I think it was the high def scans that they took.
Yeah, and it just breaks my heart because we don't have that anymore. We can't say that Assassin's Creed is that great anymore. It's literally turning into a fantasy, which actually kind of surprises me because I think the CEO or the director of Ubisoft blatantly rejected. Ooh, this pissed me off. Literally, he rejected a pitch from an OG BioWare writer or OG BioWare dev because he pitched him a fantasy game and he rejected it because he said, "Oh, I don't like fantasy." I'm like, no one's asking if you like fantasy. We're trying to pitch you a story idea that will sell you to gamers who actually do like fantasy. Oh, I wanted to. God, so mad. I'm so mad. We could have gotten.
But you don't understand, okay? He's way smarter than you are, and he knows, like, he knows the audience better than most people do. So, you're just being a little silly, and you just need to, like, sit down and shut up, because you're just
A female.
yeah, you're just a gamer who doesn't know things. And yes, I would say that for sure he's probably sexist too. I mean,
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt
I'm
it.
gonna go out on a limb and make a guess. It's just a guess. I don't have any information that backs up that in real life, but considering the CEO level, or like higher C type level people over at Ubisoft that clearly don't know what they're talking about, that's what they don't know.
Yep. This is just it. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad. It feels like there's a shift in the universe, and I feel like karma is coming around and balancing itself out. And I'm glad that it's doing that. I'm glad it's doing that. Will Ubisoft change the ways? I don't know. That is, I don't know. Wait, wasn't there like a petition for them to be bought by someone? Tencent, was it?
Yeah, but I don't think you want that anymore, because Tencent is now a yeah, that's a whole another field of worms.
Oh boy. So I guess we're just guaranteeing the downfall of Ubisoft either way. Well, that's so unfortunate. Oh, so unfortunate. Oh no. Who could have predicted that this is actually I forgot to mention, like I wanted to talk about like the burst bubble of the AAA industry. Like, who could have foreseen that if the AAA company continued doing bad practices that the customers hated, who could have foreseen that maybe their stock prices go down, maybe their actual monetary value goes down because gamers don't like what they're doing? Who could have foreseen that? Do you think, in your professional opinion side, do you think that we're on the brink of a gaming crash?
Um, yes, there's always been a crash coming for AAAs. Always. Like
Mm.
from the early days of EA, the fact that they prioritize like income over like doubling their stock profile and like all this kind of stuff. It's like, this is anytime you're in a company that deals with a smaller audience than I don't know, Infinity, anytime that their primary concern is with the number go up concept and nothing else, that is the only thing that they're interested in. It is the only thing that they care about. It is the only thing that makes them get out of bed in the morning, is that they have to make that number like 40 or 50% higher than it was the year before. Anytime you're doing that, you are in a doomed company.
Oh.
Anytime that's the industry standard, you are in a doomed uh, industry, because there is no way around it. There's no way around it. There are a limited number of people on the planet. You cannot continue to see your year over year double. At some point, you will hit a wall. And if your only path to success is number go up, number get bigger, way bigger than it was last year, then you will hit a wall, and you will typically hit a wall at like typically like Mach 3, and they won't be able to find enough of anything in order to put that company back together again. That is just how it works. That is just how it goes. That is just how it works. Now we still have lots of room for gaming to expand and grow and whatnot, but and again, I've seen this. I've seen this in a filmmaker. The filmmaker, every year he had seen his numbers double
Mm-hmm.
every single year until he hit market saturation. He could not physically get more people in the theater or buying his products to get that number to double. But every analyst and every person working for him and the person that he hired to go into the C-suite for him so that he could focus on doing the stuff, every single one of them believed, without a doubt, 100%, that number would go up. 100% more than it was the year before.
Mm.
And because that's how it had always gone. And they didn't see that they hit market saturation. They didn't see that they had hit kind of like a cap line and that they needed to now work within that cap line. So what happened? I think it was something crazy. It was like 6 months later they were bankrupt. Um,
Jeez.
and so that's the way it always works. And so I've seen this coming for a long time because also the people at EA, the people at Ubisoft, they're not true gamers. Like they're not true gamers, and neither do they really typically appeal to true gamers. In a lot of cases, especially with EA, they appeal to the type of gamer who plays one game, and that's it. They just play one game. That one game is their life.
True. Because they think, and it goes back to what I said last time,
Yeah.
was that they expect like the same five people to like support their live service games, and that's just not sustainable, and that is not realistic. Like that
Yeah.
is just guaranteed failure. But because they hear, I don't know
So
who's talking to them.
I actually have a solution. I was thinking about this today. Um, Everybody's talking about how EA is basically dead. Like they've hit such a massive wall. Things are not going to look good. I don't expect that EA will last for the like. I don't think they'll be around in 3 years from
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Probably 2 years, even a year from
I
now. Like
agree.
they could dive like really hard.
I agree.
Why? Well, because they lost the FIFA license. Like they literally like just
They
they
did?
didn't. Yeah, they lost it. So
Oh
now there's another
wow.
company that's coming out with a new FIFA
Oh
game,
no.
and they're
They're
gonna
gonna get
take.
so
Oh,
freaked.
yeah, they're gonna take like 90% of their audience who typically bought all the FIFA games because all they look for is FIFA soccer. Okay, buy this one. That's all that's in their heads. Like they don't really see past that kind of thing. And that's I mean that's not inherently bad for the consumer. The consumer wants to play what they want to play. It's totally fine. It's like whatever. But just like they're going to hit a wall at some point. But like if you go back 15 years, this would have saved their whole brand. Because most people who play FIFA games, they only play FIFA games. They don't really play that many other games.
Yeah.
So what they should have done is they should have had characters from other games come into the literally you call it FIFA Fantasy League, right? Where it's basically it's like you've got in there. You've got the characters from Dragon Age, the first
Oh,
Dragon Age.
Fantasy League,
You've got Mass
legit.
Effect, and it's the
Legit
Fantasy
fantasy.
League,
Oh, that would have been
and
so
you're
good.
playing, and all of them are playing with superpowers, and you get a feel for the
Oh,
characters,
that would have been so good.
and then
Wow,
some of
how
those people are like,
creative.
"Oh wow,
That's so creative, so
this is so
new.
cool." Yeah, exactly. Like literally, I do this all the time. So it's like yeah, that probably would have saved them, but they never had that forethought. They never had the
Oh,
intellectual capacity
how much you want
to
to
do
bet
something.
that someone actually did pitch this idea? How much you want to bet someone actually did come up with this idea and they pitched it and they were shot down?
I have seen pitches. I've seen professional pitches. I've seen elevator pitches. I've seen a whole bunch of stuff, and I can tell you 100%. The majority of the people who work at EA at the upper C suite at a lot of these studios, they're just straight out. They are just incompetently stupid. Like they genuinely don't understand their like what kind of market they're in. They don't understand how to attract long-term new players. Um, it's just not something that they're capable of doing, and that's the problem. That's the mistake. That's the failure of leadership, and that's what's ultimate. And again, that's what's ultimately going to kill them because they don't they don't think outside the box. They're so limited in their view that even the success of like Apex Legends and a couple other things was brought on by the um, was brought on by chance and somebody playing games with them, like literally playing like mind games with them. Uh,
What the heck?
the Yeah, it's crazy. I've talked about it before, but yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah, that reminds me
yeah.
of mind games. I actually heard allegedly from a source in Ubisoft, someone of a certain female employee being very predatory in Ubisoft that is getting out of hand. Like she literally
Hmm.
blackmails male coworkers to sleep with her. And it's
Hmm.
getting, and even though people reported her, and she has been sexually harassing male employees, like it is
Oh yeah.
getting out of hand. And yes, this may
People
surprise
forget that
you.
it can go the other way and
Yeah,
that it's just as cruel. I mean, again, it's like we don't want to see any of this kind of stuff.
yeah,
But
like we
the
need to stop it no matter what. And anyone can be just like a predator. Anybody, like
yeah.
we can't just automatically assume a predator is always a man. There have been female predators, and it's like she's sexually harassing her male coworkers. It's getting out of hand, and apparently, even though people report it, like it's making the atmosphere very toxic, and they go to HR about it. But because she's a female and because they're all buddy buddy, the HR has not done anything about it. And I like this is a source who wants this out there because they said that is getting very disturbing in the company, and they're just frustrated that no one has done anything about it and no one's talking about it. So they're
Yeah.
I'm just putting the word out there that there is someone who's taking advantage of people in like it's not changed. This is Ubisoft. There's literally the same people who took advantage of the female employees. Now it's swung the other way, and then there's a female employee who's taking advantage of the male employees.
Yeah.
We and
And again, we hope that, whether it's true or not, that justice prevails because this kind of stuff is terrible, especially people who use their and again, really what it is, it's just the corruption of power. It's like people who aren't used to it, they get it, and then they literally lose their minds and become somebody completely different.
yeah,
Um,
it's very it's very that this is a bad thing. People shouldn't abuse power at all. That's why it's when people it's we need to talk about it, especially when someone is too scared to talk about it.
mhm.
Like I hate it when like incidents like was it the outsourced company about the cult. We found out about the cult and the outsourced company that AAA games use to help build their games. We didn't know about the abuse until the company was dissolved. Don't get me wrong, they did try to tell people before that as well, but it didn't gain traction until after the company was already dissolved, is when I feel like more traction, more eyes actually got onto the story. In my opinion, I could be wrong, but it felt like we only learned about it after the fact. And I think it's important to talk about it so that people know, so that it can be stopped before before the person hurting others like doesn't see justice until the company itself goes under. Do you know what I mean? Like they stop. Like I want them to stop and get justice as soon as possible, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like I hate it when like we only learn that all this abuse came out after the fact, where they go on and abuse other people, even at, like in other companies. They have access to other people in other areas. Like yeah, like people deserve justice against their abusers. And I can't stand it when abusers just get away with their BS. But yeah, like, it's just, I really hope that the gaming industry like gets away from this. I really hope so, but you know, what can you do? Stuff happens, but I can only hope for the best, you know? But yeah, sorry, I got totally on a different tirade. What what were you saying? What were you saying, Zybe, about like was it mind games? Someone was playing mind games? Was it
Well,
Ubisoft?
yeah, no. It was Respawn.
Oh, right.
Uh, yeah, so they played a little like switcheroo mind game with the board in order for them to be able to make their Star Wars games and then later on the Apex games the way that they wanted to, and then that lasted for quite a while, and the EA board was furious with them because they had lied. The board had lied, had forced some advertising to be incorrect, and allegedly, and that resulted in, like, people going, oh hey, these games are actually pretty good, and then they were, I can't, it's been a while since I talked about it. So EA basically went out of their way and said, "Oh yeah, no, this is traditional game development. This is like, we care about our employees. They decided to make their own game, and we totally support them. And there's no microtransaction."
Right.
And even though the whole time that they were pushing for it, and then they did it basically the switcheroo that said, yeah, and they're going to let us do this with our next game, and then they got caught in the middle and had to let them do that in order for that, like, in order to save face publicly. So yeah, it was kind of a mess. It still
Yeah,
is a mess. It's a stupid
not
mess.
not surprised.
Yeah.
Not surprised. Literally, like, it's gonna take a lot to get me to trust, or at least to be like very neutral about AAA companies, especially with like big big names like EA and Ubisoft. It's gonna take a lot for me to be like, okay, they come out with pretty good games. Do you know what I mean? It's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be a while before that happens, if it ever happens, because they're still here. They're still here. Uh, what I mean by that is that it seems like they could collapse at any moment. Like the gaming companies could literally just fall under maybe next year. We don't know. They could make a surprising turnaround. We don't know. I mean, it's possible. Anything's possible, really. They could get some support somewhere else, and they might actually change things around. Mass Effect 5 hasn't come out yet, and it's something people are warily optimistic about. Me personally, I'm not very optimistic for Mass Effect 5, but I will welcome being proven wrong. But right now, I'm not very excited for it. Cuz after the track record so far of BioWare, Mass Effect 5 isn't looking too good. Like, literally, it was Mass Effect 3, then Mass Effect Andromeda, then Anthem. Oh wait, I'm talking about the track record for BioWare. I'm not really talking
Hmm.
about the track record for like EA as a whole. But like,
Right.
there's Mass Effect Andromeda that came out, then Anthem, and then Veilguard. All three of those games were not. That is not a good track record. And so Mass Effect 5 is coming out. It's going to be a Hail Mary, guys. It's gonna be like, you are going, like, it will be a miracle if Mass Effect 5 releases and it's so popular. I'm not gonna say it's going to make back what EA lost, but it will get them on the right track. But that's going to be one big miracle. Like for BioWare's sake, they better hope for the best. Me personally, I think BioWare's already done. I think BioWare's done
Oh
at
no,
this point.
I mean, so here's the only way forward um, for BioWare. So BioWare can do a few things to make everything better. Um, it's it's not going to be easy. It's going to be very difficult. This could be very hard. This could be very problematic. Um, and it's going to be super hard. So what can they do? Well, they can so they focus on getting a story that sticks entirely in the universe, that makes sense, that's got no political garbage in it, that's got no modern day issues in it because it's a sci-fi game. Andromeda had this stupid thing where they injected some of the like the current day political issues in it, and it's like with their level of technology, that's not a thing. Okay, it's like having a wheelchair in a game where you can
Literally
rewrite
having,
DNA,
yeah, yeah,
or
literally
or
can
or
make
you have magic
clones,
that can heal people, or it's like at some
exoskeleton,
point,
exosuits.
yeah, yeah, it's like there's 1,000 different ways to fix this. A wheelchair is stupid. You're stupid for doing it. You're an absolute fool for doing it. What in the world are you doing? This is so dumb. This is so unhealthy.
Literally brought a character back from the dead.
Hmm.
Like this is advanced technology.
Yeah, so it's like this like wake up, smell the coffee. So they gotta do that right, and I really don't know if they'll actually be able to make the game because of all the time and effort. But then they should probably open it up to early access, include some form of multiplayer that is not predatory, microtransaction based at all in any way, shape, or form,
I
and
don't
then
know. This is
just
EA. Do you think they can help themselves? Do you think they'll be able to
well,
they'll be able
again,
to
it's like as
restrain
soon as
themselves?
if EA steps in any way, shape, or form to be like, hey, we want you to do this, and hey, we want you to do that,
Look,
and if it
I want
doesn't come with $100 million, then no,
I
like
want to
just you're gonna
reiterate
kill it intentionally.
I want to reiterate, I think what was also a surefire way to prove that uh they had no confidence in the was it Veilguard project was that they
Yeah.
decided to make it not live service. I think that was probably a dead giveaway that they're like, "Oh, we're not going to make
Well,
money off of this game."
no, because I mean, everybody who knows stuff knows that live service died about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Um, like died. Before that,
But yeah,
um,
Sony actually canceled
yeah,
a lot of live service projects
yeah.
recently.
But and it's just again, it's like it hit kind of around like early COVID too. It was like as soon as that hit, it's like you were a fool. You were an absolute fool if you thought that, oh no, this this can work out, like this, we can work around this. It's like no, you're a fool. You're an absolute fool. This is not going to work out. You cannot work your way out of this. This doesn't work. Like no, you're not going to be able to get this to function in the way that you think you're going to be able to get it to function. It just does not work. Stop making up stupid garbage, because you can't bring back live services now. You just can't. It doesn't work.
Yeah,
I'll,
it's
I'll be right back, by the way.
okay. It was just
Yeah.
it was a horrible trend. Let's be honest here. I'm just reiterating myself, but it was obvious that it was a trend that was going to die. It had an end date. It was not going to survive. Yet every for some reason gaming companies got really greedy and they were like, well, we're going to make as much money off a live service as we can. So they made as many live services as they could because they wanted to make money. They knew it was, unfortunately, let's be honest here, most of the live service games that they did come out with weren't even that interesting. They weren't that fun to play because they were just manufacturally like shoving them out. They weren't having they weren't having the proper time to cook in the oven. They were like, okay, we need to jump on this trend as soon as possible. God, no one wants to play single player games anymore. Everyone wants to play online, constantly online, live service games. Everybody wants that. I freaking hated that they were trying to push that, especially because it came from the CEO of EA. Freaking was saying that. He was like, single players. No one wants that. Nah, they want to play live service. They want to play multiplayer games. That's where all the money, I mean, that's where all the gamers are at. They're playing multiplayer games with their friends and stuff. Who plays single player games? Not actual gamers. Not socially inept people who don't want to interact with others. Gamers are social creatures. Gamers are such social creatures, you know? Jeez. Like who's I'm so mad that he freaking said that. But yeah, like live service was not going to last. I knew that the moment they started saying like, "Oh, single player's dead." And I'm like, "No, no."
I knew 100%, like 100%. Oh, this is totally gonna hit the wall. When it was one of the guys from it was one of the guys from, I believe it was Activision. It might have been EA, might have been Activision. One of them said, "Why aren't we charging people to reload their ammo in a game? Like, why aren't we like, hey, you gotta use 5 credits to reload your gun? And if you can't reload, well, you're not gonna win the match because you're just gonna die." And it's like, why aren't we pressuring people to pay to win each round?
Why aren't we forcing people to watch ads during their games? Why aren't we
Yeah.
doing that? Why aren't
Yeah,
we
as soon as that happened, I'm like, it's Icarus. They're gonna fly so close
literally
to the sun,
literally
they're
no one
gonna melt.
no one was talking
And
about this, but Ubisoft, ooh, surprise, Ubisoft came out with their Avatar game, and literally they released a DLC expansion, and they froze people's saves of the game until they bought the DLC. They were literally
yeah,
holding their game saves hostage until they shilled out
yeah.
like $40 for their cruddy DLC. Like,
There's been a few games that have done that, and again, the absolute sheer like arrogance of like saying, "Oh yeah, no, you just we're gonna hold your gaming experience hostage." It's like, like that is such a dirty move. And again, it's like, yeah, you're gonna turn off like 10 or 20% of your players right now, and then you're going to do something again, and you're going to turn off another 10 or 20%, and then again and again and again, to the point where, oh, you thought you were going to sell 3 million copies of this game at a minimum. Turns out you only sold 1 million, and most of those people hated it.
yep. Surprise, surprise.
The absolute sheer like hubris on display with this stuff is like, it's like, you do realize that you people are all insane and stupid, right? Like it's like, good lord.
How did we how did we get here? How did we get so disconnected? How did we get so far removed? I think it's
Because you
because
you had people who tried to monetize art
ah,
and entertain, like art. And I mean, you could monetize entertainment. It's totally fair to monetize entertainment, but the art aspect of it, it's like, that's where you get really messed up. That's where you really break yourself, because artists tend to not be like, selfish monsters like the people in marketing are. But the people in marketing, well, I mean, they're just, I mean, that's them. So
goodness gracious. I
it's,
just
and,
hope
and
that
and again, I've said this so many times. Um, the guy who invented Apple said in his speech, "What is the greatest risk to a company? It's when all the people from marketing and sales become the bosses, and the people who innovate, who create, who do something new get stuck, in the lower reaches. And that's when you get a piece of technology where the person's like, we don't want to improve on this technology. We, you go all the way back to the remember Blackberries, the phones. You go
Oh
all the way
yeah.
back to the BlackBerry in like, what was it? It was the late '90s or something like that, or maybe early aughts. And they said, we have perfected the phone. There is nothing else that could be possibly invented for the phone. And then they fired a whole bunch of their developers that worked on like creating new stuff for the phone. And then
Wow.
what happened like 6 months later? The Apple iPhone came out. And again, it's like you fools. You absolute fools. You are you're sitting on your high throne thinking, "Oh, this can never change." It's like you absolute dunder idiots. Oh, good lord.
Well, yeah. Like we see companies rise and fall all the time. So I feel like
Hmm.
this is no different. Uh, if companies, if certain companies fall, others will rise in their place. Hopefully for
Yeah.
the better, because there's Larian Studios, there's Architect Entertainment, there's
Well, and
Rebel
there's
Wolves.
all like the indie developers are always going to be able to rise above the current giants. And again, we see this with games every single year. We saw this with Larian, what was originally a small tiny studio, rising up and going, yeah, no, we're going to win at everything. Thank you very much. Um, that's just the way it goes. And again, the fools behind the masks who are like, no, this can't possibly happen to me. I'm better than this. It's like, no, you're not. You are a fool. You are going to drive yourself over the edge and into insanity because you honestly think that you're better. It's like,
They're literally epitome of the
mhm.
meme of the little dog that's in a burning building. They're like, "Nah, we know what we're doing. Nah, we got this. Everything's fine."
Everything is fine. It's on fire, but it's fine. It's like, yeah, but yeah, it's
Lose
like we
six
got
billion
there.
in stocks. This is
Yeah,
fine. We still got this. Losing IP. Ah,
and
we
again,
got this. We're EA.
you really do see this in games today, where you have these top new games, like these top new games, and you look at a game from 10 years ago, and they look almost identical. It's like, okay, so we hit a wall like 10 years ago, and people in marketing are basically like, no, don't do innovation. We've got to milk this for as long as we can. It's like, ugh, vile, absolutely vile.
Yeah. Was there any other topics that you wanted to talk about?
Um, no, we have a new podcast series coming out. It's
Ooh.
about authoring. Um, Ash and I recorded an episode on Friday. It's not going to be a weekly show. It's going to be either once every 2 weeks or once a month. It's not a a big primary show, and only the first one or two episodes are actually going to be on this channel before they move over to our new channel, where we're going to be talking about authoring. We're going to have my books go up there. We're going to have Ash's books go up there in the form of story videos, um, little mini shorts, stuff like that, where we introduce some of the characters, that kind of stuff. Um, it's all coming. It is on the channel that I am on right now. That I'm in the chat with right here. I'll actually type that right here. Um, no, don't, no, 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 nobody else type that before I do.
Oh my.
Hold on. Lol. There we go. Okay. So yeah, the my Obsidian channel is where we're going to be doing like it's I might tweak it to like Obsidian books or something like that. But yeah, basically it's like we have a channel that we're going to be doing more book stuff on. It's not happening like tomorrow. This is going to be over the course of this year. Um, we're going to be getting my book ready for print. It's going to hopefully be very good and very exciting. I've got an amazing voice actress doing the narration for it. We've got some music coming for it. We've got we're going to have shorts. We're going to have animation stills, not stills, like looping animations to do character intros with, like all this kind of cool stuff. Because I really, really, really want to share this world with as many people as I can. So yeah, so that's what we're doing here. We've got other stuff on the go, and then yeah, we'll have a bit of a change up in the lineup as far as like who's going. We are so close to hitting 47,000 subscribers. We've gone up almost 100 in the last couple of days. So yeah, like and subscribe because that's what the YouTube gods demand that we say that. And plus, I think a goat sacrifice once every 3 months. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, and they do it in this weird temple. I don't wait. Am I supposed to be talking about this? I don't
Uh,
think I'm supposed to be talking about this.
it's fine. You're fine. It's fine. It's
Okay,
fine.
all right.
They'll
Okay,
forget.
okay,
Don't worry.
okay.
We'll send people to make them forget. It's fine.
Okay, all right, cool. So yeah, other than that, yeah, check that out. And we are gonna we're trying to do more streams, and I'm definitely gonna be streaming a little bit of the next Civ game for sure. We're gonna be doing a couple other things, most likely. So yeah, we're trying to get this stuff out here and like make um make good progress on stuff like that. Sorry, it's been a bit of a crazy time for us. We've had a lot of crazy setbacks over the last couple of years. It's been rough,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah. So,
Uh.
and
Well,
my
I
and
was.
my health just keeps getting worse. It's been really really rough,
Well, yeah.
again and again and again and again. It's just been a nightmare.
Yeah. Gotta make sure we take care of ourselves. Uh.
Yep.
I stream on Twitch, so I do have a YouTube channel, which is you can actually find it also here. I have a YouTube channel, uh, where I post my stream VODs, which you can find there. But was it? Yeah, I mostly stream on Twitch live. I'm trying to figure out how to dual stream so I can stream both on YouTube and Twitch. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But my anniversary for being on it's already been a year on it on Twitch. So my anniversary is going to be Tuesday. So I'm excited for that. And then was it? Gonna stream Thursday through Saturday. Gonna stream Thursday through Saturday. I'm Central Time, so and I usually do it mostly in the afternoons. So yeah, catch me there. The links in the honestly the links are all in the description below.
Hmm.
Yeah, be sure to subscribe and follow. For your daily shenanigans of Reaver and Sybe. But yeah, anything else to add?
Always fun. It's
Oh yeah,
always fun. It's been so much fun to like get back into the habit of actually like streaming and doing content and stuff like that. And it's just been poor luck that we have had so many issues for so long. Really does suck, but yeah.
yeah.
That's
I'm
the way sometimes it goes. But Ash's new channel, Sinometry, is doing amazing. He just hit his latest video, which he put out, I think like a couple of weeks ago, is now well over 500,000. I think it's actually on the numbers on his side. It's encroaching on 600,000. And so yeah, that's been really good. And yeah, both of our writing exercises have been going better and better and better, and we're getting closer and closer to being able to release something. So yeah.
awesome. All right, so I guess we'll end it here. We'll see you guys next week. We'll let you know when we stream, but yeah, we'll see you guys next Sunday. And I hope you guys have a good day or night wherever you're at, and see you next time.